Welcome to T-Smack, home of the T-Smack. May I take your order?
Hello there, and welcome to an all-new episode of Talking Smack, where we talk superheroes, movies, animation, comics, and much, much more. I am your host, Josh Scar, and joining me, as always, is my co-host, Alex. Alex, how are you holding up in this heat wave?
I'm just laying here in front of a fan, praying you turn the cool back on in the basement.
Ricky doesn't let me turn off the AC. That thing runs all year. I don't know what you're complaining about.
But the vents, you've closed the vents down here. They're
the
all
upstairs needs it too. You're fine. The basement can stay damp. We have a dehumidifier.
Oh, I'm gonna go lay on it. Yep.
How's your summer cold doing?
It is mildly better. Other than it's a lot better. Other than just occasionally a rough cough, and then my nose drains, and it's like, why are you doing this to me?
Where did this come from?
Yes. Like, how has this been 2 weeks now? What is going on here?
Talk to me when you're at like a month and a half. Excuse. There it is. I'm not even going to edit that one out because I need proof of the dry cough that's still lingering here. The steroids didn't do their job. I didn't get the offer from the WWE.
No, but your arms look great. Man, seriously, that like white t-shirt you're wearing all the time now with the cutoff sleeves, your arms look amazing. Those shoulders.
Yeah, that's the I don't even have something clever to say. I'm too busy trying to make sure I'm taking in good breaths and not too deep so I don't choke myself again. And I feel like the raspiness is coming on. I hate it. I really hope I haven't gone through like a second voice change in my life. And now I'm just going to sound like Richard Harris on like my deathbed for the rest of my life.
Oh, please let me go through a second voice change so that this is actually my normal voice. Yeah, it's like, hey, what's up there, guys and gals? We're going to go smooth ASMR radio talking about movies that feel like summer to us.
I really wanted to do some like Beach Boys sort of something earlier, just like Aruba, Jamaica, but I don't want to get us copyright struck. So I think we can go through Aruba and Jamaica and then we're good.
Yeah. By the way, R.I.P. Brian Wilson passed away was it 2 weeks ago?
Something like that. Yeah.
To go back in time, play the beautiful harp music in the background. Do 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 do. I did not know. So I remember growing up watching Full House, and Uncle Jesse loved the Beach Boys. And they appeared like, I don't know, once a season on the show or some crap like that.
After a certain point, yeah, because I think John Stamos like legitimately became a member of the group.
I didn't realize this, but he actually legit plays drums with them live.
Yeah, he's like a real musician.
Yeah, and on that, I think he's played drums like on one of their albums or something like that.
He tours with them. Like it's incredible.
There is a YouTube channel called Drumeo that I stumble across every, 4 to 6 months or so. And what they do is they will take a song that a drummer hasn't heard before, strip out the drum parts, and have them play what they think it is. And they give them like 4 or 5 times to do it. And that's where I found out a few weeks ago that John Stamos plays with the Beach Boys, because this was filmed just like a month or so ago, and they had him play Last Resort by Papa Roach. He'd apparently never heard it. And then he's there trying to figure it out. And then he's like, okay, this is my final idea of what I think it is. Does it? It's pretty damn good. He's a legit drummer. And then they play the actual drum part to him. He's like, okay, completely missed that. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was cool. All right. And it's great to read the comments from other professional drummers, and the bands are often tagged and like they'll react to it and stuff. But knowing that John Stamos has made like a 40-year career out of playing backup with the Beach Boys, and then is just out there playing Papa Roach songs, this is so fun.
We're going to hear from Karen and Ann over at the Sugar Coated Murder podcast. We'll be right back.
Hey, Ann Barner.
Hey, Karen Beatty.
We need a promo. Like where we talk about what we do on our podcast.
On our Sugar Coated Murder podcast? Like how we love to bake and talk about murder?
That's what we need to talk about.
There you go.
I think we've talked about it. Y'all find us on all your favorite listening apps.
Stay sweet.
And don't murder.
Because if you kill people,
we will talk about you.
I love them.
So, Alex, we're here to talk about our favorite feels like summer movies. This is something that came about because it's a national birthday this weekend as the episode is releasing. There's not really a movie that we had time to get out to go see. We could have seen Mithrigan 2.0, but your schedule is really tight. I really don't feel like paying money to go see it. It's dumb fun. That's my blind review. Is it's stupid, turn off your brain fun. Justin, my prediction will give it a 2.5.
You know what? I think Justin, because as contrarian as some of his opinions are, I think it's gonna be like a 3. Like a 3. Because every once in a while I'm like, he should hate this, and he's like waxes poetically about it, and it's like 3.5. I'm like you and I
think he did that with Elio, where he was just kind of like, Elio, it's missing something. It needs to be a little bit more. There's just an ingredient missing. 3 stars. And I was like, he's not wrong.
No, I plan on seeing it sometime early next week, and I'm going to try to fit in during the July 4th weekend, like 2 or 3 movies to actually try to relive my teenage years and actually see like 2 movies in a day. Yeah,
because that's something we'll talk about. Do you want to do honorable mentions first, or do you want to go deep and then do the quick honorable mentions?
Let's do the honorable mentions because, frankly, it is like 95 degrees out. It's supposed to storm. My dehumidifiers have been running in my basement nonstop. I have to empty one of them because one is thankfully attached to
They cost a lot of electricity.
They cost so much money. I always know when dehumidifiers kick on because like I look at my bill and I'm like, wow, triple, huh?
And it's just this one little like foot net. I don't even know what the dimensions. It's like 24 inches by 18 inches, and that thing eats up power like a generator. So honorable mentions for movies that make it feel like summer to us.
Yes.
These are movies that it's summertime. We want to feel like it's summer. We pop it in the streaming service or the Blu-ray player, the DVD player, whatever it may be. Or if it's releasing in theaters, maybe we'll go do that just to get that extra jolt of summertime fun. So honorable mentions for these movies make it feel like summer to us. First up, we have, I'll let you take this one because I know you really want to talk about the significant anniversary for this film.
Yes, first up we have Jaws, because nothing says, I want to go near the water like a shark eating people's faces. Now, I want everyone to know, just last week was the 20th anniversary of the 30th anniversary of Jaws, and we recently found out that Steven Spielberg is in fact not a 99-year-old man. He's in fact just turned 78.
He's not even an octogenarian yet.
No! And so at the ripe young age of 27, he filmed this movie. And so many of the reasons why I'm afraid of water and sharks are because of this. And let's be honest, Discovery Channel survives off of Shark Week every damn summer. Mm-hmm. And they can thank Spielberg for that.
Pretty much.
It is a damn near perfect film.
Yeah, it has practically no flaws. It is one of those movies that it continued to exist on into eternity as far as I'm concerned. And it is like a perfect summertime movie because the movie takes place as a summer kickoff event where this little island town is getting ready for tourism to start boosting their economy. And sure enough, there's a shark attack. I mean, you've seen Jaws, you know what it is. But among other things, it is like one of the best anti-capitalist movies out there. But people always just get distracted by the shark story.
What are you talking about? I mean, the beaches have got to stay open for the holiday weekend, Josh.
The town can't handle not getting the money from these tourists.
Exactly. They'll be fine. Listen, it teaches us a few very important lessons. 1, you got to close the beaches. 2, you should not swim nude at the beginning of a movie. Your boyfriend will not follow you into the water.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
Very true.
I don't think I realized that was Richard Dreyfuss, even though you have the opening credits at the start of the film back then. And it says Richard Dreyfuss right up there with Roy Scheider. And my brain just never connected it. And I was probably in my early 20s when I was watching Jaws again. I was like, Richard Dreyfuss, who the hell is he in this movie? And I'm watching the movie and I'm like, I don't see Richard Dreyfuss. And then there's the spot where he yells at what's the boat captain's name?
I don't remember. He's Matt. He's Hooper. And
Hooper, yes. He yells at Hooper. And I'm like, oh, that's Richard Dreyfuss. I recognize that yell at Bob from anything. Like because my first real exposure to Richard Dreyfuss was What About Bob? And the way he just goes manic in that movie. What About Bob is another one that we should have on the honorable mentions. We're going to throw that on there too.
Oh man, What About Bob? I love that film, but at the same time, I have changed so much from when I was a child. I was on Bill Murray's side, but now that I'm an adult, I'm like, what is wrong with this person? Where is the mental asylum? We need to put this person away.
That's one of those things. If we ever get back to rent-free moments in my head, Bob sitting there rubbing his temples. I feel good. I feel great. I feel wonderful. That's one of those things that every now and again I'll just sit there and mantra to myself for a minute. And then you've also just got the moment where he's afraid of riding or sailing in the boat, and then they just duct tape him to the mast, and he's like, "I'm sailing," which is something I did as a kid all the time. I would hop on a swing at the playground and just go, "I'm sailing."
Can we also admit that Julie Haggerty's performance as the wife character is playing the same character she did in Airplane?
She's playing the same character in every movie since Airplane.
I know, but it works as well. I'm like, you know what? If Richard Dreyfuss wasn't in this movie and they just straight up replaced him with Robert Hayes, I would not have batted an eye. Like, yep, this is what life becomes like after you land an airplane.
So another one that you brought to the table that I didn't think of, but I think is kind of a quintessential summer movie, and that is Armageddon. Mm-hmm. That's one of the ones where I think it was post Independence Day, but it was still just that big blockbuster, just epic action ensemble cast with just everyone that oozes charisma. And it's the dumbest fucking movie you've ever seen, but it's also like the most badass movie you've ever seen.
Armageddon is such a perfect summer film because it is just stupid and huge and bombastic. You know, you have Liv Tyler trying to stop Bruce Willis from shooting Ben Affleck with an actual gun and shooting at it. And there's so many little moments in that movie that has stuck in my head since I was a teenager. It's like, it's all fun and games until someone gets shot in the leg. He's like, it's just ricochet. You know, it's like, but you get off the nuclear warhead. Oh, sorry, I just want to feel the power between my legs. Russian parts, American parts, all made in Taiwan. It's a dumb movie, but you know what? And I'm an adult now, and I know there is absolutely nothing romantic. Thank you, Michael Bay. There's absolutely nothing romantic about taking animal crackers and making them gallop across your girl's stomach. But as a teenager, I thought that was a move.
that was a move back then.
But it's just that it's like, it's raw. It's, you know, it's Dr. Seuss's worst nightmare. You know, it's an absurd film that is half a step away from parody because of how serious everyone is in that damn movie.
And if you really want to have some fun, have a few drinks and then listen to the audio commentary with the actors and just listen to Ben Affleck rip this movie to shit.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm going to do that now because that sounds great. And it was also my introduction to Michael Clark Duncan, with listing all the problems that he has. And he's like, you know what my problem is? And he just strips off his shirt and just starts flexing. It's stupid. It is a stupid movie. There's nothing necessarily redeeming about it, but it is so perfect as a summer movie of just, this is what we pay to go to the theater to go to see. And then this is what I like kick back. The weather's kind of crappy outside. I want to feel good. Let's just put it on.
Yeah. And like, it's not even a summer movie for me. It's a just feel fun movie. So you could put that on any time of the year and I'm going to be pretty well invested and just be like, yeah, this is stupid, but I'm having fun. It's the perfect turn your brain off, shove popcorn in your face. Or if you're Tom Cruise, an individual kernel of popcorn, one at a time, really aggressively. If you haven't seen that video, look up Tom Cruise eating popcorn. It is the most disturbing thing you'll see this week.
It is. He is aggressively eating a piece at a time with the enthusiasm that he does everything in life.
And he's like shimmying his fingers through it like he's getting a handful, but no, it's just like one. shimmying through one. It is just aggressive. And then the way he's chomping too, I'm having fun chewing this popcorn. You're a normal man. You're very normal. All right. More honorable mentions. For me, Happy Gilmore is one that I have to mention just because there was one summer in the late 90s that I don't remember if my dad had gotten like a dual VCR where you could record videos from videos. And so we did that off of a bunch of rentals, or if I think it was a copy that we had made, which like, obviously my dad's dead, Mr. FBI agent listening. You can't do anything to him. And I believe there's a statute of limitations as well. And I was a minor. I didn't know what we were doing was illegal. There was a summer where I just watched Happy Gilmore like 2 or 3 times a day, every day of the week.
Happy Gilmore is one that like, because of like my parents' weird trip from like showing me things like Armageddon and having me crying in theaters during Terminator 2 to suddenly like being Puritan, like Adam Sandler is too dirty. Like, so I didn't see Happy Gilmore and like a Billy Madison in them until I was in like my 20s. Cause then I was like going back and catching up on everything that I've been denied. So it's not one of those movies for me, but seeing it and like, I can appreciate that movie because it is an adolescent fantasy come to life. You're angry. You have a hockey stick. It transitions into a golf club. Of course that makes sense. It works great. You just got to find your angry, happy place. I
mean, you also have just Carl Weathers being just the funniest fucking man in the world in that movie too. Like that was the movie where I was like, oh man, this guy has talent. He's not just the guy from the Predator and a few other action movies. Also, one of my favorite lines to quote every now and again, where something happens and I'll just go, you know that Mista lady? I think I just killed her.
Oh, I thought it was The Price is Wrong, bitch.
No, that one's too obvious. I like the more nuanced stuff. The air conditioner drops the lady. Mister, help me.
It's so wrong.
This is another like quintessential summer movie for me. This came out the year I was becoming a senior in high school. This summer I was turning a senior in high school. Pirates of the Caribbean: Curse of the Black Pearl. For a movie based off of a Disney park ride, how the hell this movie has no right being as good as it is. It doesn't, and it hit theaters at the right time for me and my like burgeoning fandom and love. I bought it on VHS. No, I bought it on DVD. I bought it on Blu-ray. I got the collection of them together because at one point I bought the second one, but not the third. But then I needed the fourth and fifth, so I have them. Wow, you really went all in on that. I stopped after the third one. I was like, these are really diminishing returns. Oh, they are terrible diminishing returns. I think Stranger Tides. I think that the fourth one on Stranger Tides. I think that one, if that was the second one, it would have been better. Like, just make it zany supernatural pirate shenanigans. But instead we get this weird like 2-part story with Davy Jones and this melodrama with Will and Elizabeth. And like, it's really missing the point of what the first movie was. Yeah. And then they try to replicate the formula by having like another like couple in there that should not be together, but kind of be together, but are kept apart. And it's not great. And then the last one was a Dead Men Tell No Tales or whatever that one was. Yeah, with Javier Bardem as a weird zombie pirate that controls zombie sharks. Yeah, I mean, that was kind of fun, but then they brought back not Davy Jones. Orlando Bloom. No, yeah, and then the other guy, Barbosa. They brought Barbosa back, and he had a weird story. Oh, and yeah, he had a daughter just randomly. Yeah, and there was they did that de-aging tech on Johnny Depp, but like they actually had a stand-in and then try to make that stand-in look like him, and I'm like, Johnny Depp's kind of a weird looking, an attractive man. And you couldn't have just taken a scan from Crybaby or something. Yeah, Crybaby, Nightmare on Elm Street. Crybaby's another summer one. That's one where my sisters like fell in love with Johnny Depp over Crybaby. Benny and June. Yep. Edward Scissorhands. What are some of these others? 21 Jump Street. Any of those early scans you could have done, but they went kind of, and didn't work right. And yeah, but the first one is basically kind of like the Beetlejuice thing, where
Jack is the star of the damn movie, but you gotta keep him in the background. You gotta let him spark in moments, because a lot of that movie, he's not really around for it.
He's doing some machinations in the background, yeah.
But it's so watchable and so fun.
Yeah, that's one that I think I'm going to introduce to my kids this year, because I've been a little concerned that like the skeleton stuff might be a little too scary for them. But I think as long as we watch it like during the day before bedtime, I think they'll still have a lot of fun with it. And Elizabeth gets to have a lot of moments in the movie too.
And there's nothing wrong with traumatizing your children just a little bit, you know, if they don't get a
little bit of fear. Yeah,
a deep seated, rooted fear of watching a movie a little too young, then have you really parented?
And speaking of, that's a perfect segue into the next honorable mention. We've got two more before we actually dive into the meat of the episode. Jurassic Park is one that I really wanted to mention. This is another one kind of like Armageddon for me, where it's not just like a summertime movie, but it is kind of another quintessential summer movie moment for me, where this came out the year I was turning 8 years old. Dinosaurs were the biggest thing ever. Power Rangers were about to hit. And so I'm like all jazzed about dinosaurs, and you've got this movie about dinosaurs coming back to life in the modern day. Hell yes. And I have one of my most vivid memories that I have of my childhood is going to the movie theater in Spring Hill, Illinois. And I'm there with my aunt, my cousin, and I think my sisters. And I'm sitting there just chomping down on Spree candy, the like hard sugar candies. And I'm just enjoying myself. And it's that scene where they cut from the baby raptor hatching to the raptor pen, and you get that loud raptor scream. That scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. And I remember jumping literally out of my seat, and my box of Sprees just goes flying, and I hear all the candy fall behind me. And I'm just like, oh, I'm out of candy and I'm scared.
Oh, you just reminded me of something about that movie that has stayed with me until I was 30. So Jurassic Park, seminal in my life, and for a variety of reasons. One of them was that I was at my uncle's house after the movie came out, so I was like 8 or 9, and I saw on his bookshelf the spine said Jurassic Park. So I took it off and it had the logo of the movie, and but it didn't. It was the white cover, so it wasn't like the black poster with the red and the yellow. But it was just the T-Rex thing. And I went, they made a book out of this. He went, actually, Alex, it was a book first. I went, and I sat down on the floor right there. I started reading it because I love to read. But it was like the first time I tried to read like an adult book, and my uncle gave it to me, and I basically transitioned from like Wayside Stories at Wayside School and Spooky Stories to Tell in the Dark to then Crichton and Grisham. That changed me forever. But I have always remembered the line from that raptor scene of Hammond going, "Oh, I think he's made a Chilean sea bass. It should be quite tasty or whatever." And it cuts to them with you get the lawyer scene and they're all eating it. I had never had Chilean sea bass, but on my honeymoon, we were on took a cruise. One of the nights, one of the dinner options was Chilean sea bass. And I was like, honey, I finally get to try what it's spared no expense. It was horrible. I took like 3 bites and she's looking at me because normally if I like something, I'll eat it way too quickly. And she's like, you don't like it, do you? I'm like, mm-mm. And she's like, you do realize we're on a cruise and, we're in a suite and you can ask for something else. He's like, and then he came by, the way it came by, how was everything? I'm like, can I have something else?
Can I get chicken nuggies, please?
Yes. I was like, I want something that's not, even though I know this was they're like the more expensive option, but everything's all inclusive because we had a suite. I do not like this. I do not like Chilean sea bass. This is horrible. Hammond, you fucking lied to me.
Rich people like horrible shit. Like, that's just the rule.
Yeah, squab. It's pigeon. Okay, it's pigeon. Stop saying squab.
So the last honorable mention before we dive into the meat of these things, the Phantom Menace. For me, this is another quintessential summer moment because that came out in 1999. I was 13. I remember very distinctly there was one day where I was so bored. I didn't know what to do with myself. I couldn't go to the park pool. It was like a cloudy day. None of my friends were available to play. I lived a little out of the way anyway. And my sister was like, I'll take you one place and then I'll pick you up after so many hours because I have things to do. And none of my friends were available. And so I was like, I've got allowance. I'm going to go see Star Wars. And so she took me to Showplace 16 and I went and sat through The Phantom Menace. And I went, I enjoyed that. That was fun being at the movie theater by myself. I'm going to do it again. And so I walked out of the movie, went to the arcade, walked back into my theater, and sat through it again. And then I went, that was fun. I'm going to do it again. And so I went and hung out in the arcade and I sat through The Phantom Menace one more time. I sat through The Phantom Menace 3 times in one day. And the movie, like, refilling my popcorn, refilling my soda. The movie theater did not care that I saw the movie 3 times. Only paid for 1 ticket. They were just like, whatever, it's a 13-year-old kid having a day. So like that was one of my more memorable summer days that I've had, where it just like had the realization that I could go to the movies by myself, and I enjoy going to the movies by myself, and I can still have fun with the movie, and I can sit through the movie multiple times. It was Star Wars. Like, of course it's good. Like, it has to be good, right? And I remember my sister picking me up because she dropped me off at like 11 o'clock, and then she picked me up by like 5. She's like, what did you do here? It's like, I sat through Star Wars 3 times. She's like, okay.
Oh, I love your sister. That sounds great. Like, got rid of him. And I'm just making sure he wasn't arrested during that time.
Well, I mean, you would think like maybe as a 13-year-old kid, like maybe I had a friend who could drive, or like a friend of a friend could drive, and they like picked me up and we went and did naughty stuff. Like, no, I just literally sat through Star Wars and lived on a diet of soda and popcorn for a day.
It was probably around the same time. I had an uncle who was just released from incarceration, and he was living in my bedroom with us, but we were sharing the bedroom, and he taught me about Jackie Chan movies. We went and saw Rumble, and so he taught me about. So he took me to go see Rumble in the Bronx because he was a huge Jackie Chan fan. And it was that instance where I started realizing movie mistakes, because the kid on one of the bus is playing a Game Gear and there's no cartridge in it. but you know, the movie's making sounds and he's like just tapping the screen and tapping it. I'm like, that's not real. But then after that movie was over, he went, oh, okay. He's like, and he looked like up at, you know, the marquee, and at the times he like looked at his watch, looked up the marquee, and then just led us into another theater. And I was like, oh my God, we're going to get in so much trouble. We're going to get caught. This is going to be terrible. Oh my gosh. And we watched like a different movie. And that's where I learned, yeah, movie theaters don't care. They actually don't. Once you get past that first line of defense of the teenager or the elderly person who makes sure you have a ticket, it is a free for all. They do not care. Okay. And so, yes, little 13-year-old Josh sneaking back in. Please tell me you sat in the same seat every time.
Oh yeah, there was no assigned seating. Like Showplace 16 had like just opened up at that point. I think Star Wars was like one of the first movies that they had shown there, or maybe it was only a couple of years old. Like maybe it opened in like 97, and then Star Wars: The Phantom Menace came out in 99. So like my dad and I were still going to like the cheaper theater because Showplace was the expensive theater at the time.
What is wrong with my mom letting me, a 10-year-old, be taken to Rumble in the Bronx?
I don't know. It was the 90s. I mean, let's get into the main topics here, which are feels like summer movies, which we're going to kick off with The Sandlot, released in April of 1993. Just because I was curious, and now I'm going to share this information. I was really curious about like the box office for these movies, and I just pulled the world box office for these on their initial runs. The Sandlot made $32.4 million, which, as big of a deal as it is in the American Midwest, I'm shocked at how little money this movie made.
Oh, you got to remember that was like 93. That was $250 million back then.
That's true. And I'm sure this movie was made on a budget of like $8 million or something like that. Let's look that up.
A budget, a pack of string cheese. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I was almost right on the money. It was $7 million.
Where did it go?
The fact that it grossed $34 million on a $7 million budget is actually pretty good.
Oh man, James Earl Jones in that movie. Is there a better person to just cameo at the end of a movie?
And that's icing on the cake that is this movie. Like it is.
Yes.
People talk about the Goonies. People talk about all these other like coming of age kid stories. Stand By Me. Like Stand By Me is a little different because it's more dramatic than anything else. But like The Sandlot is a quintessential boy in America growing up story, or like coming of age story, starting to become who he is as a man. And The Sandlot just, it ticks all the boxes for what you need that movie to be as a young kid, especially when you've got like baseball. Baseball has just come back after the 1991 strike for Major League Baseball.
Mhm.
So you've got a retro movie set in like the 50s or 60s where this new kid moves to town. He's got to make friends. The best way to make friends, play sports, find a group of kids playing baseball. Baseball is the easiest game in the world to play besides soccer. You just need a stick and a ball and you can pretty much do it. And it also works in like a snobs versus slobs kind of thing, because you have the little league team that shows up and the scrappy group of kids that we're playing with. They show them up in like the best way possible by just completely embarrassing them. It's a perfect kids movie.
It resonated with me because it was about the kid moving to like the new place and, you know, not fitting in, all that crap. And we moved around way too much when I was like a kid. I don't know. I know it's over 12 schools before I was in the 5th grade and different cities and other crap. It resonated because it was just like, yeah, it sucked. And it sucked trying to get accepted into a new area. You're trying to be cool. You know, he's like, oh yeah, I know who Babe Ruth is. Totally, you know, and they all start burning on him, but then you earn respect by you suffer through it and you try to be the big, you know, oh no, I'm not afraid of going and getting the ball from the giant 95-foot dog in the yard. But everyone, it just comes together. You have your friends, that ending where he goes through all of them and where they are now, it's just so perfect. You know, one's a sports broadcaster, one of them made it, one went to Vietnam, one kind of disappeared and got kind of really weird and we haven't seen him in 20 years, you know.
And then a couple of brothers built mini malls. Yeah,
it is perfect. It gives a little bit of that saccharine sweetness to like, oh yeah, of course one of them ended up the majors and one of them ended up a broadcaster, but it also doesn't hide the fact that, yeah, we're all not going to be baseball stars. Some of us are going to, as you said, mini mall. But it also is just so perfect because at the end, this giant scary dog that they've been doing all this stuff trying to battle, it's just a dog. And, you know, and it's not owned by some evil owner who kills kids. It's owned by James Earl Jones, who's just a blind guy living in his house.
He would have been the first Jackie Robinson, but he got hit in the face and went blind, which was also poignant because I believe that happened to Kirby Puckett within that time frame as well, which kind of inspired that story, if I remember.
Yep. And it's just, you know, it teaches you to face your fears, all kinds of them, and it's such a great movie.
What makes this movie feel like summer for me, which is the point of what we're talking about, you've got the carnival scene or the county fair scene where they all decide they're gonna take some tobacco and go ride some rides, and they just throw up all over everyone, which again, perfect kids moment.
Oh yeah.
You've got the pool scene where it's such a hot day they can't play, or like they just can't because it's too hot. Then they're in love with the lifeguard, which like playing off the whole Baywatch fad that's happening right now, but you get Heather Graham in her first role and being the hot lifeguard. And then you have, which is probably like the most sense of Americana I have ever felt in my life, the scene where they're playing on the evening of 4th of July when the fireworks are going off. Because the fireworks are going off, they can get in a good couple of innings of baseball. And you've got Ray Charles, America the Beautiful playing in the background. And you're just like, yeah.
And can we all admit that as a young child discovering that girls are pretty, Wendy Peppercorn is the perfect person. And yes, it is a little jerky to turn her giving you CPR into a kiss, but 90% of us probably would have tried.
Man, we were talking about it earlier. In 1993, not only were we introduced to Heather Graham as Wendy Peppercorn, we were also introduced to Amy Jo Johnson as Kimberly Hart, the Pink Power Ranger.
Yeah.
What a year for 1993. The Sandlot, Wendy Peppercorn, Jurassic Park, Power Rangers, Kimberly Ann Hart, the Pink Power Ranger. Like, what is a young man in the US supposed to do with that in 1993?
Be scared of dinosaurs. But you can't watch a movie like The Sandlot in the depths of winter and be like, oh, one day we'll be playing baseball again, catch with people. No, it is summer. It is
summer vibes all around. It's one where you watch it the night before you go and play baseball and you're just like, yeah, get a little jazzed up.
And I want to add, Ham recently was in a Savannah Bananas game.
Nice.
And
I know they recently did a reunion for the Sandlot boys that were all there.
Yeah, they introduced him as his character name is Ham. He had a Savannah Bananas jersey with Ham on the back. That guy is 46 now. And
he looks exactly the same as he did when he was 12.
Aged. I don't know if he purposely did up his hair or whatever like it. I don't think so. But all that's happened is he got slightly taller. That is it.
I mean, he's got some age lines on him now too, but yeah, for the most part, you're just like, oh yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah, if I was walking down the street, I would be like, Ham? Really?
Rebecca's brother from Son-in-Law?
And bless him, man. He went out. He hit it. He hit a nice. He hit a nice shot. They got him out at first, though.
All right, Alex. So this next feels like summer movie is one that has been driving me nuts since we settled on this. Why is The Crow on our list? The Crow, released in May 13th, 1994, grossed $50.7 million worldwide at the box office. Why is The Crow on your summer list?
You're wondering why a movie set on Devil's Night in Detroit, that is about a guy being killed and coming back a year later and striking revenge on Devil's Night is a summer movie? Yeah,
that sounds more like a Halloween movie. And Ernie Hudson's there too. He's a Ghostbuster. Yep. It feels more like October than summer to me.
To me, it is a summer movie because it is so 90s summer. Everybody is wet in this movie. Everybody looks glistening. One of the most famous lines of the movie is, it doesn't rain all the time. It is such a terrible line. Sorry, it can't rain every day or whatever. But there's something about this movie that when I put it on, to me is like Americana summer 90s, because it is gritty. It is slightly gross. It is a love but revenge story. It is pure early 90s, mid 90s goth. What, it came out in 94, right? Yeah. Goth culture, where Vampire the Masquerade and that sub.
We are in the throes of Nirvana and
Korn.
I'm thinking, who's grunge. The other Pearl Jam?
Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Nirvana. They were all coming through at that time. And then you had the rise of new metal with Korn and others. It was everything was we're just wearing shredded shirts with eyeliner and leather pants with studded belts, and we're goth, man. And it is such, to me,
the rise of Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, it's such a encapsulation of what 90s gritty anti-culture that I watch it in the summer. I don't know why I can't. It's not to me a Halloween movie because it's they don't call it Halloween. It's Devil's Night. It's the nights before Halloween. Halloween. It's not really all that Halloween. I would say Batman Returns is a Halloweeny movie. I think that's technically
even though
it's
set at Christmas.
Yes. But this, it just feels like it. And you have the soundtrack, which is pure early to mid 90s. You have The Cure, Stone Temple Pilots, Nine Inch Nails, Rage Against the Machine, Violent Femmes, Henry Rollins, Pantera, Medicine, Jane Siberia, playing these songs that are just an encapsulation of a moment in time. They sliced off summer 94 and went, here you are. And I love that about this movie.
The soundtrack I can get behind, because a lot of those songs do come out in the 90s, at least those bigger songs come out during the summer. So I mean, I'm not going to disallow your feels like summer choice. I was just really curious about it.
Yeah, it just I don't know. It doesn't, to me, it's not like a spring movie. It's not a movie I watch, but like on a really burning hot day where I'm feeling that like 90s vibe, I'm like, I should put on The Crow. That's what to me that movie feels like summer.
So this next one is another one where it's like peak Josh is learning about superhero stuff, because Batman 89 happens and classic Hollywood taking the wrong lessons from the success of Batman 89. They went, Batman was created in the 1930s, 1940s. What other comic book characters were created in the 1940s? Not superhero, not guy's been around for forever, just pulp hero from like the 30s or 40s. And so we got a bunch of random mass movies like Dick Tracy following up after Batman, and like The Phantom and The Shadow, which The Shadow is a bad movie.
Yes.
But goddamn, does Alec Baldwin nail that what fear lurks in the hearts of men, the shadow knows. Like Alec Baldwin hits that hard. That's one of those moments where you go, they didn't have to go that hard, but they did, and it's worth it. Before we get into the bizarreness of like Dick Tracy and The Shadow and The Phantom, The Rocketeer was Disney's answer to Batman 89. The Rocketeer, it doesn't dive into that Americana. It's more of a celebration of like Hollywood, but then it takes a turn into World War II propaganda kind of stuff. And it hits really hard in that sense as well. But this movie came out in June 21st, 1991. So I'm about to turn 6 at this point in this era. The movie did not apparently have a worldwide release, or at least there's no worldwide box office numbers. It still did $46.7 million domestically in the US. But this is another one of those movies that young Josh learning about superheroes, Batman 89, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out in March of 1990. And now you've got The Rocketeer, just like superheroes galore. And we're a couple of years away from Power Rangers. Like I am in on all this superhero stuff. And I just remember my dad enjoying this one because he loves planes. He loves World War II stuff. So like this hits a perfect sweet spot for him too, where it's a little fantastical, but grounded in a lot of reality. You have Alan Arkin. I'm forgetting Cliff's name. He's Cliff Secord. Thank you. And then again, young kid discovering Jennifer Connelly. Like, has Jennifer Connelly looked more beautiful in any movie than she does in The Rocketeer? Like, she's a beautiful woman, but like, I think The Rocketeer may be her most beautiful she has been in a movie.
I don't know, because I
don't mean to objectify, but like,
yes, you do. But
6-year-old Josh was like, holy hell. And then finding out that's the same girl from The Labyrinth, I was like, how old am I? How old is she? How does this work?
So you've seen the gif of her like on like the what is it, the little Rocky horse thing? On the
hobby horse thing?
Yeah. Those two movies were released the same year. The Rocketeer and Career Opportunities. So yes, this is peak 6-7-year-old, like why is that pretty? And then
going
like,
from Phoebe Cates to Jennifer Connelly, like, again, what is a young man in America supposed to do with this?
And then you're in your like early, and then you're like, you start hitting your teenage years, and you're like, I like The Rocketeer, but I like it for a very different reason now. I've always known I've liked it, and there's something about that person, but now I understand.
Now I really like it.
Yeah. Jennifer Connelly was perfect in this. Terry O'Quinn as Howard Hughes was fun. Like, that's before, it wasn't until I was a teenager.
Before Lost.
Yeah. And it wasn't until I was a teenager that I realized that, wait a second, Howard Hughes was a real person. And Hollywood Lands used to actually be Hollywood Land, but then they changed it to Hollywood. When the property, all
this
the
movie
little
fills in a lot of gaps.
Yeah, and it does the perfect thing like Ghostbusters and other movies do, where you set up like an imperfection in the weaponry in the beginning of the film to later on pay it off. So like, Ghostbusters don't cross the streams, and of course they have to cross them. This one is there's a
crack
hole
in the fuselage.
that they
or in the fuel.
with tape, and then that's their solution.
Is the bubble gum.
Yep, the bubble gum over it.
Yep. And Timothy Dalton, like you can't discount Timothy Dalton as the sleazy actor Nazi.
Oh no, he's perfect in this, and this is right after he did a few James Bond movies, so he's looking to cut around, change his image a little bit, and he nails this role as just this sleazy actor who, he's just trying to help out this young woman on set, and it's just like, yeah, no, you're a horrible human being.
And then you've also got Lothar, like a little bit of Dick Tracy in his design, or a little bit of James Bond, but like Lothar is just straight out of the comic books. Like, I don't know if he is legitimately from the Rocketeer comics, but he looks like nothing else in this movie. He looks like he doesn't belong in this movie.
No,
but
not at all.
Somehow he still fits too. Where's the rocket?
Exactly.
Like, the voice that goes with it too. Just, big brute of a man that's throwing Cliff through the ceiling.
Joe Johnston, I really wonder what his career would have been like if he had been able to just put some other things together, because he did Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, huge hit for Disney with Rick Moranis, then did this Jumanji, October Sky, and then it's just this weird kind of like he did Jurassic Park 3 because he had a good relationship with Spielberg, and then Hidalgo, the Wolfman. Captain America First Avenger was his film, but it seems like he just whatever it was, he just wasn't really able to like just line up that get things going in production, especially when you have so many hits that just really speak to, especially for me. I know who the hell Joe Johnston is. He did some seminal stuff for me.
I think for Joe Johnston, part of the problem is that he never got the gravitas and the freedom that like Spielberg got.
Yeah.
Even though he had Spielberg as like a vouch for him, he just didn't have the pull of a Spielberg or even someone a couple of rungs up the ladder from him. And so studios just always picked apart his work, because you can always look at a Joe Johnston movie and be like, I see it, but there's something off. There's clearly like studio interference, or there was something off with the script that the studio just went, shave it down to 90 minutes, shave it down to 82 minutes, and we'll just put it out there.
Yeah, you can see it with like Honey, I Shrunk Kids. Oh, it's a kid's film with some practical stuff. That's fine. Rocketeer. Oh, the Rocketeer didn't do well. Oh, Jumanji. That's a Robin Williams film. October Sky. Oh, that's a low budget, kind of like.
I love October Sky.
October Sky's
that's
fantastic.
One that I think that's an overlooked movie from that came out in what, 98?
98, 99, somewhere in there, yeah. And it's a great movie. And then Jurassic 3, yeah, you can say
that one was doomed to fail. There's no reconciling that script.
No, but Hidalgo was good. I think that Wolfman is really underappreciated for what it was with Anthony Hopkins and
Benicio del Toro.
Not Safe for Work it's an interesting film, but I think as good as the second Cat movie is, Winter Soldier is, I still find Captain America First Avenger a little more watchable. It's a little more fun. It's a little more punchy.
It's got that pulp factor to it where it makes it a little more timeless. And I think a big part of it is that Joe Johnston was allowed to make his own version of this film. And we're not talking about Captain America, the First Avenger, which is one of my favorite MCU movies ever. But I think part of it is he also like put together a crew to make this movie work the way it does, because the number one thing that I will credit the first Captain America movie over any of the other Captain America movies or even the Avengers movies to an extent is that Joe Johnston went out of his way to make sure that there was a score for that movie.
Oh, yes.
The Captain America theme is phenomenal, and the music behind it by Alan Silvestri is amazing. There's a reason they brought him back for Avengers, because Joss Whedon, who directed the first two Avengers movies, had a relationship with I can't remember, but like the Serenity score was really good. Like that was Joss Whedon's first feature directorial movie, I believe.
Yes.
And the Serenity score, the guy he got for the Serenity score was just astounding. Like I will still listen to that score. I do not think Joss Whedon would have brought in Alan Silvestri to do the Avengers score if it weren't for the fact that maybe someone at Marvel, Kevin Feige or something, responded to the Captain America score the way I did and was like, we need that guy to come back. Alan Silvestri did something there. And that Avengers score is iconic too. People forget that the Captain America score even exists. But Alan Silvestri is a guy that kind of got lost in the shuffle of the John Williamses and the James Horners. Yep. And he's just worked steadily for 50 years in the industry. And he's made a lot of really iconic stuff. Hans Zimmer in there too.
Well, speaking of that, I mean, the score for Rocketeer is a James Horner score. And it is fun. It is light. It is punchy. It's dramatic when it needs to be. It is one of those perfect, like, early 90s raw, pulpy scores that just, this movie drips fun and humor. And it's just lovely. No one in this movie is miscast. They all got their assignments. And, you know, I'm sad we didn't get like a few more out of it. I mean, nothing's really happened. You know, every little while they threaten that they're supposed to be making a sequel or a continuation or something. But I think this is just, for as underviewed as it was, it really is just a little bit of a lightning in a bottle that has just endured.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it, because you can't, the concepts that they put out there for continuations or sequels or reboots, they all sound fine on paper, but I think once you start getting into the filming process of it, you realize that there's a lot of flaws that you could really run into. All you're doing is compounding instead of building. It sucks that we haven't had another Rocketeer movie, but at the same time, I'm like, do I need one? I don't think I do, because this one, it's super fun in its imperfections.
What I also really enjoy is that, like, the effects mostly hold up. There are some really...
There's some real shoddy green screen, but like there's some really good stunt work in there too.
Oh yeah, and the flying scenes where he's in the air with like the airplanes, those are really well done together. That first, like, him getting lost, flying through the cornfield and through everything. There's some spotty shots, but it's still believable. It's still sold well. You know, they knew what shots they were going for, and I appreciate that.
So our next movie is one that did not actually release in the summer, but boy, is it colorful and green. And I really don't know why it didn't release in the summer, but National Treasure, starring Nicolas Cage, released November 19th, 2004, ended up grossing $347.5 million worldwide in 2004. It has had a subsequent re-release, so it's brought in a little bit more money, but not a lot. But this is another movie that just, it oozes America machismo and just like American exceptionalism, but in a way that's really corny and fun. And it's like, it's very whitewashed. Like it can be problematic if you take it at face value and you're like, oh yeah, George Washington was great. Thomas Jefferson, Ben Franklin, they were all just wonderful human beings. Like, no, but it's one of those movies that kind of like Hamilton. If you allow yourself to be immersed in the emotion of the performance, you could feel like, oh yeah, this is what it felt like to be part of the revolution. You can feel the intensity behind what they were doing. The sincerity Nicolas Cage brings to this role of the honoring of the founding of America, the founding fathers, and the ideology of the American Constitution, the Declaration of Independence. They're different documents. I'm just trying to go off of things that'll trigger American sensationalism in people's brains. Just Nicolas Cage plays it off so well. It's a heist movie. There's problem solving. You've got Sean Bean and he doesn't die. There's a lot of stuff in this movie that actually works really well. And even though it didn't release in the summer, it's a movie that takes place during the summer. Or at least it sure seems like it does, because it's very green when you're not in Antarctica or wherever they go to start the film with that boat heist. But it's just one of those movies that, because we're in that 4th of July season, it's really one that if you ever want to feel a little bit of, like, I guess pride, I don't know. I've never really felt that Americana pride other than like that fireworks shot in the Sandlot. This is another one where you're just like, yeah, on a surface level, I can get behind the idea of what they were trying to do, not necessarily their execution or who they were as people. But this one is all about Nicolas Cage's performance. Like, he just sells it.
Oh, it released in like November, and it just was one of those movies that just ran for weeks and slowly built up, making a ton of money. the sequel made even more, and I still get so confused.
It made over 400 million, yeah, and it only had an increased budget of National Treasure had a budget of like 100 million,
yeah,
and then Book of Secrets had like 130 million.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing most of that extra 30 million went to Ed Harris.
Probably. And I don't understand why it didn't get like a third one, because this is the kind of just, it's the fun conspiracy about your country that is just amusingly fun. You know, they could have done like a monarchy treasure for like spin-off franchise and done the exact same thing about the royalty in England. They could have done that stuff with this, but it is fun because
only as long as Nicolas Cage comes back and does a British accent.
Sold. It is a kind of fun, joyous thing where it makes the people watching it feel like they are not behind, they are right with the people figuring everything out. So going through and figuring out the treasure clues, flipping over, it's like everybody has a dollar bill. You got the all-seeing eye with this and this. Ben Franklin and this. Oh, we can go see the Silence Do Good letters. And all that.
Silence
Do Good letters. They actually exist where they say they are. You can go to these parts of the country. He tells the stories are told very fun. And Diane Kruger picks up a lot of that audience weight as being the every person by being excited to do this with them. She has this joy with it. Justin Bartha as Riley is just there as the kind of like quirky foil of like, are we really doing this? The wet blanket kind of thing.
He's the exasperated comedy guy. Yeah.
And I mean, but then he gets his moment where he's like, wait, I know something you guys don't. And Sean Bean. Josh, I'm really sad if you didn't stay through the end credits, because at the end of the credits of this film, it does say Sean Bean as Ian died in jail. So
he was executed for crimes against America.
Exactly. It is just this fun little movie that it's a joyous little journey to go on, because once everybody starts getting involved with it, everybody is tied up in the like, this could be real. This could be fun.
Yeah. And we're kind of in the midst of the Da Vinci Code stuff as well. So like, this is like a family friendly Da Vinci Code kind of thing. And then we're also still 9/11 is still really fresh. So this releases in November of 2004. So this probably went into production early 2002 at the latest, because back then it took like 2 years to finish a movie. You would film it for 3 months, and then the editing process would take 18 months to 2 years.
Yeah, you would actually have a finished script that people worked on, and then you would film a movie. So you didn't have 7-month productions. But yeah, it's a great little thing. They tie together everything, the Freemasons, the Knights Templar, the conspiracies around like, why is there an all-seeing eye on the back of the bell? And why are people doing weird crap? It ties it all up in a fun bow. And some of the crap like is true. Like, oh yeah, the back of the Constitution says original copy. Those are like real things, but they're also things like that make me go, why would you write original copy if you weren't putting something on the back of it?
Maybe there's a copy with an actual map on it.
Yeah, I'm starting to think this might be more real than they're letting on, And of course, the reveal at the end of all the treasures throughout all of time are it's a great little reveal, great little, mixture of practical and CGI. And I do enjoy the ending, where he's like, I didn't keep it. It's all going to the Smithsonian on tour for the world to see. It's like, it's the very magnanimous kind of joyous ending.
It's a very impractical thing though, because like most of that is like gold coins, and that's not something people are going to go to the museum to go see. But I do like the idea that like they got to keep 10%, and that's still like $750 billion.
Yeah. So he only accepts 1%,
Well, 1%. That's right.
Yeah. They're due 10 and he took 1, which is Riley's complaining as he climbs into a Ferrari that he doesn't know how to drive.
But like, how did he get it there if he doesn't know how to drive it?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
It doesn't matter.
You want me to suspend my disbelief? Make me understand how he got that car there.
Yeah, it's a good feel good summer movie because you want to watch it late June, early July. After that, it's just kind of like, I forgot about it again.
Yeah, you don't feel that Americana before then or after then. So this one, this next movie, I have a fun story attached to it because, or fun for me. I don't know if anyone else finds it really fun or interesting. So Spider-Man 2 releases June 30th, 2004. I remember going to the midnight show with my buddy who's in our Discord, Combat Wombat. He has convinced me that I'm going to go join him for this big music festival that used to happen down in Bushnell, Illinois called Cornerstone. 200, 400 bands play throughout a week long, almost Woodstock like experience, except there's like tents and stages. There's like 100 stages where all these bands are playing at like all hours of the day constantly. And then there's also like just this one big amphitheater stage that's made out of like a natural hill in the area. And there's big bands that play there, like Skillet played there, Reliant K, POD played there one year. I went MXPX. Like there are legit bands that show up for this thing. So Combat Wombat has convinced me that I'm going to go with him. We think that happens 4th of July weekend. We're wrong. It ends 4th of July weekend. So July 30th or June 30th is like the Sunday leading up to it, or like the Tuesday leading up to the 4th of July, which I think was like a Sunday that year. And so we're sitting in the movie theater waiting it's like 10 o'clock waiting for the midnight show to happen. And we're just talking about all these things that we're going to do with this concert. And Combat Wombat gets a call from our friend Robin. Robin's yelling at Combat Wombat being like, you said we weren't leaving until Thursday. You said we're not leaving until like Thursday afternoon. He's like, yeah, that's when everything starts. She goes, no, it starts tomorrow. We have to go tomorrow on July 1st. And he just looks over and he's like, when do you think you can get off work? And I'm like, what now? Because I was literally like just sitting off in my seat. And part of why I remember this so vividly is because we're sitting in the movie theater listening to Ocean Avenue by Yellow Card, because they used to play music in the movie theaters before all the pre-roll stuff would happen. And we're just sitting there talking like, if I could find you now, and just having fun listening to this surfer rock. And then all of a sudden I find out that I have to get the rest of my week covered at work, among other things, and have to pack my suitcase and meet up with Combat Wombat and go down to Bushnell, Illinois for this concert series that we're going to. And it was just the most hectic 12 hours of my life. And I'm like, I just wanted to sit here and enjoy the movie and then go to work tomorrow morning. Now I have to pack my bags and go to the concert and not shower for a week and camp. I don't know what the hell I'm doing with my life. So like it's a fun memory of just chaos on top of just arguably one of the best Spider-Man movies that they've made.
Oh, this is a movie that proved to me I love you, Sam Raimi. Like I've known about Sam Raimi since I was shown.
You've known Sam Raimi?
Oh yeah, yep. No, I didn't want to let you know this, but I'm actually Bruce Campbell.
I thought the chin looked familiar.
No, I was introduced to Mr. Raimi with Army of Darkness at an inappropriate age. Saw the Evil Dead movies, Darkman, Quick and the Dead. And when he was given Spider-Man, I'm like, all right, okay, this is going to be interesting. And there's a lot of Raimi in Spider-Man,
especially Spider-Man 2. I mean, he homages himself by doing an Evil Dead sequence when Dr. Octopus wakes up.
It was that scene that I'm like, this is my Sam Raimi. 18, 19 years old, whenever this movie came out, 2004, just after coming out, the other one, 02, the first one broke all kinds of records. This one is set to break them, and it is so good. It is so fun, and there's all the little sequences that just stick in my head about how a little over America. Is it this one, or is it the first one where like he swings into action and the American flag is fluttering behind?
All of them have it. Like that became a staple of them because the original one was supposed to release, I think it was still the summer of 2002, but they had released a trailer where he had webbed up a helicopter between the Twin Towers. Yeah, I remember seeing that. And then they immediately took that off the shelves or off of reels. Mm-hmm. Once 9/11 happened, and they I think they delayed the movie even, because I think it was supposed to be like a March or even maybe a February release, and then they pushed it back to May of 2002 because they had to digitally remove the Twin Towers from the film.
Yeah, I remember that because that was a teaser announcement trailer because it was a helicopter that was like bobbing around.
I remember thinking it was like a Burger King commercial because it was such a poorly shot trailer. It didn't look like a movie trailer,
which is also kind of badass because that's, you know, the way they announce it is they're chasing something but you can't see it, and it's all very hectically kind of weirdly done, and then it pulls away and there's a helicopter strung up between the Twin Towers, and it's like, you know, Spider-Man 2020, you know, 2002.
I remember seeing that teaser in the summer of 2001 and like getting super psyched about it.
Mm-hmm.
It was jarring because it's a big theatrical movie coming out and it doesn't have that trailer finished look to it. Like I said, it looked like it was just a cheap homemade camera that they use for the Burger King Kids Club commercials or something.
It was just a very exciting movie. It was, you knew that you're going to start getting these movies, and especially you're expecting this kind of quality of like superhero movie every summer now, because like the first one did well, you know, yes, there have been X-Men, but Spider-Man kind of stepped it up a bit, and then Spider-Man 2, you know, you had X2 and then Spider-Man 2, and it stepped up and it's big, and there's supposed to be summer movies and it's supposed to be great and it's scary, and yet he's being redeemed, and then we get the continuing pain of what's going on with Harry, and Harry blames Spider-Man, and will he and MJ get to, you know, will Spider-Man and MJ get together, and what's going on? It's so good, and I love it. Did you hear the re-releasing the Raimi Spider-Man trilogy in theaters later this year?
Are they doing it again? I remember they did it like last year or 2 years ago.
Yeah, but they're doing it again. And here's the part that I find hysterical. They're not releasing Spider-Man 2 in theaters. They're releasing Spider-Man 2.1 in theaters.
2.1?
Yeah. Did you buy that one? Because I bought that one.
I bought the original. I still have my original Spider-Man DVD releases that I bought from my media play because they didn't have them at other retailers at the time.
No. So Spider-Man 2.1 was released in DVD in 2007 in April. It includes about 8 minutes of extra footage, including some alternate takes. But the primary reason it was released as kind of a build-up hyped for Spider-Man 3. But the primary reason you would know about it is when Spider-Man gets rid of, is no more, and he chucks the suit, and it's given to Jonah Jameson. And that's where we get that shot of him in the suit, dressed like playing around.
That's where that came from. Okay. I thought I just hadn't watched the movie in a while. And I thought that was just something that was in there. I think I remember watching that in the deleted scenes, actually.
Yep.
Maybe that's where I remember.
Yeah. Spider-Man 2 also has one of my favorite deleted scenes. Well, not deleted scenes, behind the scenes little teasers. There's two. One of them is Remy is walking Alfred Molina like onto the set, kind of talking about, hey, listen, we're working on some performance issues. I kind of brought this guy in for like a life coach thing to like kind of help you with your performance. And you can tell Molina looks a little pissed. Like he's like,
yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And it cuts to Willem Dafoe in the full outfit, holding the script, shouting the lines with mechanical arts going. But my favorite thing is there was a hidden Easter egg on the DVD that you had to kind of like tab over to like this dark part of the screen. And if you clicked on it, at the same time Molina was doing this movie, he was also working Fiddler on the Roof. And so he's in his Doc Ock outfit with all like with all the octopus arms and stuff. And he just starts singing to himself, "If I Was a Rich Man." And then the puppeteers get into it and start moving them and dancing with him.
They do it. Yep.
Yeah. No, this movie is just, it's a summer movie for me. It came out at the right time. It came out at height of DVDs, Blu-ray, Easter eggs. You're watching all the behind the scenes stuff. You're watching the deleted scenes. You're really invested in this. By the way, Josh, we really should do another Rent-Free Moments one, because I cannot, for the life of me, get out of my head anytime I hear sun drops are falling on my head. That stupid
raindrops keep falling on my head.
That freeze frame of Toby eating like a non-condiment hot dog. And it freeze frames of him looking just so jolly. I'm not Spider-Man anymore. I'm just eating a hot dog and a bun. That's it. There's no condiments. It's just that.
It's a damn near perfect movie. Another quintessential summer movie that if you enjoy superhero anything, if you enjoy summer blockbuster things, It's a movie you got to see in theaters. If it's ever back in theaters, which sounds like they're doing it again, you gotta. So that's one. And now this is probably one of my all-time favorite theater going experiences. Independence Day, released July 3rd, 1996, ended up grossing $817.4 million worldwide in 1996. Practically unheard of at that time.
Wow.
I remember so vividly. I saw the movie once in theaters with my dad, and that was 4th of July weekend in 96. And then we were getting close to the school year starting, and my mom always liked to take us to the Dollar Theater every now and again to just kind of get us out of the house and go see something. Because there was a time where my mom enjoyed things, and she liked taking us to the Dollar Theater because she liked going to see cheap movies because she didn't feel as bad for wasting 2 hours of her life at the theater.
I just like the idea that your mom doesn't enjoy things at all anymore.
The only thing she enjoys anymore are AI generated videos. I yelled at her the other day for watching AI generated content that was like pro-Russian propaganda. And I'm like, Mom, this is melting your brain. And she's like, but they're such sweet stories. They keep my heart soft. And I'm like, keep your brain fucking sharp. Stop it.
It's like my mom used to enjoy things.
The only thing she enjoys anymore is making my life miserable because she won't listen to a damn word I have to say.
And that is her right.
That's for my psychiatrist to deal with.
All right.
But
sorry,
Independence Day,
movies,
we went to the Dollar Theater. My mom and my sisters went to go see something else. I was like, I don't want to see that. I'm going to go see this. And it was Independence Day again. And it was a packed theater. And this is like almost 3 months after the movie had come out. Like this is late August. So like almost a full 2 months plus going into the third month. And this is still packed. And then we get to the point where Randy Quaid goes and blows up the mothership, and the theater erupts in cheers as the mothership blows up. And I'm just like, whoa. Because usually everyone's very stoic in our theaters. But in this case, like everyone there's the Dollar Theater is having a good time, enjoying Will Smith punching aliens and Jeff Goldblum doing his Jeff Goldblum thing. Everyone's just there having a great time. And 96, I would have been 11 years old, and I'm sitting there in a theater packed full of people I don't know, and they're just hooting and hollering, having fun with this movie. And it was a treat, especially since I had already seen the movie once before. So I was just like, yeah, let's have fun.
I remember seeing it. I think I maybe saw it maybe like 3 times when it came out. This was like peak tie-in toy stuff. Like I remember one of my friends had the F-16 fighter official ID4 fighter that came that you could get that has a little.
Man, I know I had the alien ship.
Yeah.
And I had the endoskeleton action figure as well.
Yeah, I had some of the action figures, but he had the jet that was maybe like, I don't know, 18 inches. And there was like a little Will Smith action figure you could put in.
You could tell it was Will Smith because he went, woo, ha, 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 ha.
Exactly. Hope you can fly into cover. There's just some weird lines in this movie. And they're great with it's peak Will Smith's charisma before he lost it sometime in the mid-aughts. It is Jeff Goldblum being his most Jeff Goldblum. He's like, after like Jurassic Park, I think he was given carte blanche to like not even be given a script. They're just like, you're an IT guy. Perfect. I can do this. Randy Quaid, before all of his insanity, you have Vivica A. Fox, who is just fantastic. I still love those lines like, oh, I'm a dancer. Ballet.
Exotic. And
yeah.
as an 11-year-old kid, I did not understand that interaction at all. I was like, why is that awkward, Dad?
Nope.
He's just like, don't worry about it.
I had a little bit of a crush on her friend who lied to her, went to the top of the ship and the LA
She was
tower.
a cutie too, wasn't she? She was in the college years of Saved by the Bell, wasn't she?
I think
I think that's right.
Wasn't she like Zach Morris's crush on that?
No, because Kelly was there.
Yeah,
and,
but there was like a time that like where Kelly wasn't there for a little while.
Zach crushed on every girl. Like if she breathed, Zach was like, I'm gonna fuck her.
But
and then there's that one extra special Christmas episode where he buys himself a homeless girl. Sorry, I very much do subscribe to the Zach Morris is a piece of shit line of thinking with that show. And if you haven't seen it, there's a great YouTube channel that is, I think it's literally just called Zach Morris is a POS. They do a great breakdown of the Christmas episode where Zach Morris learns the lesson of I can buy love by buying women.
I remember a few years ago, back when we still worked together, you sent me, I forgot why I was mentioning like something about Saved by the Bell or Zach Morris or something. And then you sent me that channel. I think I got through 3 episodes and then I like slacked you. And I went like, I can't.
My childhood. Like, Zach was so cool. Like, time out. No, we need to stop this.
You're right. She was Alex on the college years and the wedding.
Yes. Useless database for the win.
But it was just such, it was just perfect July 4th movie. I mean, they picked the right thing. They have
Bill Pullman, best president ever.
Oh yeah. Other than, crap. Dave. I actually like Dave as a president as well. That's a great movie. And that wasn't Bill Pullman. That's what Kevin Kline. Yeah, that's Kevin Kline.
Yes,
they might as well be the same person.
I mean, Lewis Pullman, throw him in there too.
Exactly.
I'm still not convinced that it's just not Bill Pullman in a new body.
Well, it's a celebrity vampires with like all the blood exchanging and they're de-aging. Judd Hirsch is there to be himself. You have Robert Loggia being Robert Loggia. Harvey Fierstein is briefly in there. And I absolutely love, and I have thought about that line in my head so many times, like, for $200 an hour, you can put me to his place in the Hamptons. You're about to get blown up and you want therapy.
Robin Williams' gay brother from Mrs. Doubtfire. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it is absurd. It goes randomly dark with like, we're going to like the argument over whether or not to nuke the country.
And then you've also got putting the dog in peril for a few minutes there, the kid in peril. You got all that stuff. Yep. Yeah, it does enough to really get you invested in like who's going to die, who's not. But it does the thing that movies can do, and it inspires because the idea of a global Independence Day, like what better way to put out a message than no longer is July 4th an American holiday, but a worldwide global holiday where we freed ourselves from the tyranny of extraterrestrials who blew up our most sacred cities.
Yep. You're looking at the global annihilation of every major city in the world within the next 36 hours. And it's so great. And what I absolutely love about that is that once America's ready to apparently fight back, all the other countries, which by the way, this is summer in the northern hemisphere, and when they cut to Russia, it is winter. because
they're always in nuclear winter because of Chernobyl.
Exactly.
Come on, Alex. Standard American education there.
Exactly. I love that. It's the typical Hollywood thing. And of course, what is it? They cut to like the Israeli forces, and of course it's just like a random desert. It's like, yeah, because they don't have water or anything there.
There's a giant body of water right next to them.
No, and then of course they cut to the British, and what does the British guy go? About bloody time the Americans decided to show up. Like, oh really?
I think as he's getting served a pot of tea. Actually,
yes, he is. He is getting a cup of tea. It's such like the bullshit, like, like, oh, America's finally gotten around to fighting something while we've been doing our jobs over here in midwinter, the desert, and having tea, sir. It's so good. And after, of course, we take care of one of the big ones, it's like, all right, guys, now that we know how to do this, get the word out. It's like nobody else thought to shoot the big spiky thing. No one went, hey, that thing kind of blows up. Can we just
American exceptionalism means
Well-
we also have the biggest weapons and the smartest weapons.
To be fair, it is only because their shields were down because Jeff Goldblum decided to quote himself saying "must go faster,"
Yes.
which I remember that in the theater when he's like doing, they're going that "you must go faster." I'm like, didn't he say that in Jurassic Park?
Doesn't he also say, boy, do I hate being right all the time?
Yes, he
Isn't that
does.
another line that he requotes himself on?
Yes, he says something like, I hate being right because when he figures out the signal that's going to destroy the countdown signal, everything starts to blow up. He's like, I hate being right, or something like that.
Boy, do I hate being right all the time.
No,
It's just recycle a third of your lines from Jurassic Park and people will enjoy it, I bet.
hey, it made $800-something million. Apparently,
Yeah, $830+ million, and it's been re-released, so like it's gotten pretty close to the $1 billion mark at this point.
Oh, I'm sure if they re-release it right now, you get another 30-40 million. I mean, if they release Phantom Menace and made like 70 million, it's like what is it?
Revenge of the Sith made 55 million. Like it outgained Ballerina and 28 years later.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Domestically, I should say.
I'm sure someone in it's some country that, even though it's a northern hemisphere, it's snowy, they watch it. Oh, it is just a good summer movie.
It is. It's up there with Armageddon, where it's just turn off your brain, be in the moment, and just be welcome to Earth with a punch in the face.
Exactly. You have Data randomly showing up. I'm like, is that Data? Why is Data here? Data has long hair? It's just a great movie.
It's so much fun. It's 90s nonsense, and it breaks my heart that movie turns 30 next year. Which later this year we'll be doing a bunch of 30th anniversary movies. But if you want, what?
I did not need to know that, Josh. Thank you.
Yeah, no, none of us need to know it, but we're at that point where we kind of know it anyway. It's in our hearts, and we just refuse to acknowledge it until someone says something out loud. But if you want to say something quietly at us while using a keyboard, you can join in on the conversation at our Discord. You can let us know what movies make it feel like summer for you. Alex, let them know where they can find us.
Our Discord is down below. It's tsmackpod@gmail.com. There's a little helpful link there, or, you go to Discord, put the little invite link in. You'll join our Discord where you can see Matt and I have awkward interactions by sending emojis to each other that we don't understand.
No, yep. Weird miscommunications happening all the time between the two of you.
Which is great because I'm looking at like, what did his shrug mean? So then I just kind of like wrote eye roll, and then he writes back, I don't know what that means.
Well, I don't know what you meant with your thing, so
I just
we
put my
both don't know
emoji.
what's going on anymore.
Yeah, so I just sent the emoji back at
Instead of using our words, we'll just continue to confuse each other with emojis.
Yeah, you can also talk to the lovely Dan.
The lovely Dan is always around. If you haven't listened to our episode of Expedition 33 that was released last week, doing really well. Thanks so much for the great feedback we've already gotten from that episode. And again, thanks to the lovely Dan. Listen to Casting Views and Gaming Views. Join the Discord. The episode link, or the link to our Discord, is in our episode description. You can follow us on all the social media platforms at Talking Smack Pod. We're on Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. You can email us your thoughts, questions, reviews. If you're a publisher out there, which we have one out there right now, if you have interview requests for people putting out stuff that you think we might be interested in talking about, tsmackpod@gmail.com, please. That's us. Thank you to Leo Allen for our musical themes that you're hearing right now. Beppo for our original avatars, Retro Ale Studios for our Ricky avatars. Thank you to Joey Fitz for helping out with our thumbnails when needed. Please like, subscribe, rate, review on your podcatcher of choice. Hit that like button. Alex, thank you so much for being here. And what should people be watching?
You should watch Star Trek. Who loves T-Smack?
I love T-Smack. Is it true? Mm-hmm. I do. Ooh.
And then you should listen to David Newman. He's the person who did Serenity.
Yes.
And also Anastasia, the Don Bluth animated movie. Never Been Kissed, Bowfinger, Galaxy Quest.
He did the score for Anastasia?
Yeah, he did.
Wow.
The Phantom.
Bringing it back.
Yeah. He quietly did it.
It all works together. It's almost like we scripted it, but we don't. Oh, God, he found something good.
He did the Sandlot.
Are you serious?
Yes, David Newman did The Sandlot and also did
The
Serenity.
guy who did the score for Serenity did the score for The Sandlot.
Yup.
That's incredible.
That's awesome. Bravo to us for looking something up way late. The three of you who listened all the way to the very end thinking that we weren't done and we were hiding something, you guys get that nugget.
I'll probably just edit this in so that it's all there.
Oh, shut up.